I am from How To Taxes, and I'm here to help you prepare your Form 1040-SR when you have Form SSA 1099 income. The scenario of this video is that you are single, you have pension income, tax-exempt interest income, and Social Security income. There is no tax benefit for using Form 1040-SR. It mirrors Form 1040 and you use the instructions for Form 1040. To use Form 1040-SR, you must be born before January 2nd, 1959. At the top of the form, put your first name, middle initial, and last name, your address, Social Security number. Under the filing status section, check the box that you are single. Under the digital assets section, check the box No regarding digital assets. Under the standard deductions section, check the box that you were born before January 2nd, 1959. In this example, you had $5,000 of tax-exempt interest. You received this amount on Form 1099. Put that amount on line 2A. Line 2B will be left blank as you did not have any taxable interest. On line 5A, put your pension gross distribution. You can find this amount in box 1 of your Form 1099-R. On line 5B, put the taxable amount. In our example, both of the amounts are $21,000. Notice in box 7, the distribution code is 7. This stands for normal distribution. On line 6A, put the Social Security benefits from box 5 of your Form SSA 1099. In our example, it is $15,000. To determine if any of your Social Security income is taxable, you would add 1/2 of your Social Security income to all of your other income. If it is over $25,000 and you are single, then some of your Social Security income will be taxable. In our example, half of your Social Security income is $7,500. All of your other income is $26,000. This includes your tax-exempt interest. This equals $33,500. Since it is over $25,000, some of your Social Security income will be taxable. To determine the taxable portion, we need to complete the Social Security Benefits Worksheet found on page 32 of the Form 1040 instructions. On line 1, put the amount from box 5 of your Form SSA 1099. In our example, it is $15,000. Multiply this by 50% to arrive at $7,500 on line 2. On line 3, combine your income amounts to arrive at $21,000 on line 3. On line 4, enter the amount from line 2A of your return, which is $5,000. On line 5, combine lines 2, 3, and 4 to arrive at $33,500. Line 6 will be 0 as you don't have any amounts from Schedule 1. Subtract line 6 from line 5 to arrive at $33,500 on line 7. On line 8, you will enter $25,000 because you are single. On line 9, subtract line 8 from line 7 to arrive at $8,500. On line 10, put $9,000 as you are single. Line 11 will be 0 as line 10 is more than line 9. On line 12, enter the smaller of line 9 or 10, which will be $8,500. Enter 1/2 of line 12 to arrive at $4,250 on line 13. On line 14, enter the smaller of line 2 or line 13, which will be $4,250. Multiply line 11 by 85% on line 15, which will be 0. Add lines 14 and 15 on line 16 to arrive at $4,250. Multiply line 1 by 85% to arrive at $12,750 on line 17. On line 18, you'll enter the smaller of lines 16 or 17, which will be $4,250. This is the taxable amount of your Social Security benefits. You're going to enter this amount on line 6B of your return. On line 9, add up your total income. In our example, it is $25,250. Carry that down to line 11 as you don't have any adjustments to income. On line 12, we will put the larger of your standard or itemized deductions. In our example, the greater amount will be your standard deduction. You can find your standard deduction on the standard deduction chart on page 4 of the Form 1040 SR. Since your filing status is single and you checked one box in the standard deductions section on page 1, your standard deduction is $15,700. Place that amount on line 12 and carry it down to line 14 as you do not have a qualified business income deduction. On line 15, subtract line 14 from 11, which will be $9,550. Next, we will calculate your tax using the tax tables that begin on page 65 of the Form 1040 instructions. Since your taxable income is at least $9,550 but less than $9,600 and you're single, your tax will be $958. Place that amount on line 16 and carry it down to line 18, 22, and 24 as you have no credits or other taxes. On line 25, we will put your withholding. You can find this amount in box 4 of your 1099-R. In our example, it is $1,000. Place that amount on line 25B, carry it down to line 25D, and down to line 33, as this is your only payment. You have an overpayment on your return, so this amount will go on line 34, and it is $42. And if you want it refunded to you, place that amount on line 35A. If you want it applied to the next year's return, you would put that amount on line 36. If you want the amount that's refunded to you directly deposited into your bank account, complete lines 35B and D, and check the type of account that you have on line 35C. If you don't want it directly deposited into your bank account and want them to send you a check, cross off line 35B and D, and the IRS will send you a check directly. Note that there's a box to the left of line 35A. You would only check this box if you want your refund deposited into more than one bank account. Remember to sign, date, and put your occupation at the bottom of the form. Thank you for watching. I am from How To Taxes. Subscribe for future tax videos.